The others say, and I still think of you night and day, and yeah, I lost my way, I can't wait.
Lovely grab out. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Limerick here on the southwest coast of Ireland. We are bringing you action from EUC 2023, the European Ultimate Championships, and we are continuing in the mixed division with Great Britain taking on Italy. It is a overcast afternoon here at the moment. The weather comes in fits and starts, so we can expect to probably see all seasons in a day in this game. Benjamin Rees alongside Christina Obermeier. Christina, are you as excited for this one as I am?
I am. Maybe not quite as excited as yours, since it's your home nation.
Hey, I am completely neutral and unbiased.
Of course, as we all are when our respective home nation is playing. Regardless, I am very excited for this. I'm really looking forward to see what this Italian squad can do. All of them, if you can believe it, are still under 24. They did not compete at the under 24 World Championships, but decided to compete here as a mixed team instead.
Yeah, a lot of these players we would have seen out in on the fields of Nottingham, just over the Irish Sea last week, kind of taking names for their various for the open and women teams of the Italians. I think chief among them on the male matching side, David Bazzassi, who comes in with a combined 7 goals and assists, and just one behind on the female matching side, the number 14, Nicole Lafiata. I think key to Great Britain's success will be how they can shut down those 2 key weapons for the Italians. An Italian side that I think maybe caught a few people off guard at Windmill on their run to the semi-finals, where they knocked off imperious-looking France so far this week in the quarters, and GB then played them in the bronze medal match and ended up eking out a victory by a couple of points. They'll have certainly, I think both sides will have tweaked the game plan from that contest to try and give them the upper hand here.
Yeah, of course they have. I think both sides really into improvements, if we can say it that way, really trying to look to be as clinical and clean as possible, and yeah, we're underway with Great Britain on offense.
And a bit of zone coming out from the Italians. I think Great Britain will not be surprised by this. Certainly in trying to get a little bit of information beforehand, they said they were ready and expecting it. The question is, how well can they deal with it? Kime faking the around swing. Going to put the hammer over the top, sits it into a little soft spot for Sam Wilson. Back to Kime. Trying to get the traffic swung over towards this near side. Dished, just shy of the end zone. Helen Thompson going back to Kime. They've got that wide open swing available to Roberts, which they take. And now Wilson punching it in. Andrew Dick with the score. That was exactly how Great Britain would have wanted to start this game. Didn't look flustered at all, and they take a 1-0 lead.
No, they really didn't. look pressured or flustered. As you said, Italy not putting too much pressure on the handlers, just letting them swing from one side to the other, and GB really using what they got and working the disc up the field into the end zone for that score. Clean hold.
Perfect way to start the game for any side, of course. Not just holding cleanly, but not really being too pressured by it.
Must be nice. As we said, the weather overcast, no rain yet, a bit of wind, and we've seen these conditions change in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they will change frequently throughout the contest, so don't get too used to anything. The wind is blowing towards the right-hand end zone, which is the end zone GB are pulling from at the moment, and towards this near sideline a little bit as well. Going with the rolling pool, Great Britain is going to roll out of the far sideline and be taken at about the midfield point. The impressive Joshua Poltok will pick up. Kovshov applies the mark. Varotto clears out from the handler space, and I think maybe Poltok wanted to holster it. Couldn't quite keep it in his hands. Floated up a little bit there, not a problem for Smith. Smith sees Mikhail clear through and goes back into the backfield to Boxall. Boxall around, looking for Becky Thompson, and the layout, I'm not sure it needed quite that much explosion on it, but Conor Mikhail wasn't going to take any chances, and it's a Great Britain break for 2-0.
We're on the live stream. Of course it needed that kind of hops. Impressive stuff nonetheless from Conor Mikhail. And yeah, Italy with an unfortunate start to this game. We see that again, holsters it and
just doesn't holster it.
Really doesn't.
I mean, a lot of the time I think unfortunate becomes a very easy way to describe some turnovers. That one really is a bit unfortunate where you hold it and maybe the disc is a little bit slick, but very nearly ground stripped himself there on the landing. (2-0) Great Britain lead. Italy, we kind of think of them much more in the single gender divisions. They haven't really had a history of mixed, but if you go cast your mind back to the World Ultimate Club Championships in Cincinnati last year, where you were, of course, out playing for box in the women's division, Alligators from Massey, Bologna, came 17th, which is a really good performance and shows that, look, there are players, a lot of young players especially in Italy, that are, you know, they're trying to build that culture, establish that appetite to play mixed ultimate.
Yeah, I think as the scenes grow, there's not too much room in the highest division of single gender, and then you gotta go to mixed as well, you know, to get as many people as possible in this high level play.
I'm not sure whether that landed in bounds and bounced out, or whether it landed out of bounds first. Someone tried to return the disc from the sideline, but obviously the wind is a little bit of trouble.
It's just a wind, maybe not the person. Might not be an ultimate player. So did anyone see that? It's probably the question on the field now.
They're going to say it comes to the front. So Poltok again. This time he gets the disc out as he wanted, but still an incompletion. Bounces off Capucci's hands. Link picks up quickly and finishes in one pass. Another dagger into Italian hopes. Link to Nugent makes it 3-0 before Italy have even completed a pass.
That was a very important and good layout, and still not enough. GB with the break, the third point in a row, and Italy are calling a timeout, which is a very wise thing to do, in my opinion.
I think Capucci's just got her hands the wrong way there. Probably would have been better off going right hand on top, but it rolled away from her afterwards, and despite the bid from Poltok, Link just about able to squeeze that in. With the wheels rapidly falling off here for Italy, they're taking a timeout, down 3-0 here to Great Britain. Great Britain 3, Italy 0, and the Italians, unfortunately for them, have yet to get a completion on the board. The first 0 point for them, a holster that wasn't, it just slipped out of Poltok's hand, and then Capucci dropping an underneath. Couldn't have really imagined to start a game worse, but they'll have to pick themselves up now. Maybe the timeout has provided them the chance to take that adjustment. More zone coming out of Great Britain, trying to put that one over the top, and again, still yet to complete the pass. Boxall was applying the pressure as Italy were trapped tight on that line, and the blade over the top was a bit speculative, but there wasn't really much else available. Boxall activates Thompson so they can get a bit of lateral space. Smith underneath, now Kovshov slashes towards the far sideline. Fakes the backhand, Boxall tries to take the inside track. Ooh, a little bit of a floater, and it sneaks through the grasp of Simpson. Finally a completion as Bartzassi gets it off quickly to Fantini, tries to get Bartzassi on his bike, but overthrew him.
That surprises me just a little bit because Bartzassi usually is known for those highlight plays and flying meters high in the air, and that wasn't a disc one couldn't have bid for.
I was a little bit surprised to see him not bid, but I think maybe he's got a bit of self-preservation in the mindset, especially maybe after a tough week in Nottingham playing for the under-24s.
Amazing cut by Beeching, and then throws the disc into the defender.
Yeah, Capucci, the smaller defender there, nearly got decapitated by that fake. Discussion on the force. Checked in. Wanted the around to Thompson, but stuffed. And Lafiata to Capucci. Italy get on the board 3-1.
And that wasn't easy or a clean hold or anything for that matter.
It's definitely been a struggle out there for the Italians. Nice to get them finally on the board, but definitely still struggling to complete those passes. Turned it over on their first possession this point. The second one, they completed a pass and then overshot it. And then this one, in the red zone, off the quick pickup, Lafiata does the right thing, seeing that Capucci's one-on-one has a little bit of room to work with. But Italy need to figure something out quick offensively because Great Britain are causing them real problems. Going to be the second time now we see Great Britain's O-line out on the field. Last time the Italians played defense. We saw a little bit of zone from them, so we'll look to see if that is the look again.
Yeah, that wind definitely picking up now, and zone is usually the way to go in situations like this.
This is the downwind direction, so probably the easiest side to go offensively, you feel. Shorter pull. It's going to curl back towards the Italian end zone as well. Just looks like match. But I think there's maybe a miscommunication. Lewis looks to strike quickly. Picks up. Helen Thompson powers her way through now. Sam Vile into the end zone, into Ellie Taylor. And Great Britain, they want to get off the field as quickly as possible offensively.
Yeah, they'd be advised to do so. It's just not the fire, not the game I'm used to seeing from Italy. Like, I'm really surprised these players aren't really like putting their all into it. They're just they seem lush. They seem, I don't know, there's no Italian fire, no confidence. And I would really love to see them change that up a little bit. I thought after that timeout they might be screaming around and jumping, and see Ellie Taylor with that kneeing down score. But I'm just surprised to see that team. I'm used to something else.
Yeah, they have come out surprisingly flat, and there have been tournaments in the past where the Italians kind of build into their work a little bit, start slowly, and then come on strongly and as the week draws on. Both of these sides have played already today and both recorded victories. comfortable for Great Britain, 53 over a young, hungry side, and for Italy, a much tighter one, 15-12. They beat the Latvians, so a good win in the book already for the team in white here. It's looking like match defense, and Poltok sneaks that one through to Fantini. Fantini putting a bit of shape on the inside-out backhand. Nugent's there, but he's not in time. Samuel Ruscello makes it 4-2, but there is a pick called. Be interesting to see if that affected. Given that there was a 2-on-1 numerical mismatch down there, they could well have been.
I do think it's hard to say because the intended target got the disc, but Zazi was also running down there, but he had no part in the play.
Yeah, you can. There is the other defender who was marked up against Bart Sassi, I think is Mikhail. There was just a little bit of traffic there, so he just pulled up to avoid the collision.
Oh, I didn't see it was Mikhail. He could have probably made a difference on that. Like a big body like Mikhail in there.
At the very least, there's going to be some traffic that is going to muddy the picture a little bit. So the disc goes back to Fantini. But Zassi finds his way underneath. Into the hands of Ruscello. Trying to shoot one over the top. Looking for Lafayette. She had got there, but couldn't bring it in. I think that was one of the key parts of the game plan for Great Britain, was trying to prevent Lafayette getting that separation in the deep space. She found it, but Great Britain were let off a little bit by the drop. Link fires it through, looking for the continuation towards this break side. Nugent goes back to Kovshov. Sees something that he doesn't like, so he's just going to play it a little bit slower here. Link threatening the inside. Now Mikhail burns towards the open side, and he was too casual with that one.
Yeah, that just came out very steep.
As Lafayette floating it over the top, a beauty to Samuel Ruscello to make it 4-2.
This is a beautiful shot out of Lafayette. Going back to that, Mikhail got that pass that was very steep and angled. It curled into him, but with that kind of wind, it's super hard to read and to get your fingers around that. Whereas Lafayette put it up, a bit of a high release, so we see that ribbon here, bit of a high release touch on there, just these floating and perfectly read by Ruscello.
Just sitting that one on the wind, and Lafayette there, she just seems to be favouring that shoulder a little bit, which might be a bit of a worry for any Italian fans out there. The coaching setup is the infamous Davide Mori. Sandro Soldatini is the assistant coach, one of the another Italian grandmaster, and two athletic trainers, Francesco Grigio on the female matching side and Ottavio Martinelli for the male matching side, have been working with the team since the start of the year as well. So they'll be giving some, getting some warm-ups going, making sure that Lafayette can stay fit and in the game, because he is such a big piece of their offense. Rolling pull. No one from Great Britain elects to stop it. Keim jogs over. First pass is a swing to Dick. Continuing that to Wilson. There'll be a little bit of gender disparity in some of the matchups here. Keim wanted, I think, to try and thread that through, but was dissuaded from doing so. Wilson here to Lewis. They've got some breakside continuation if they want it, but instead they're going to try and direct things through the middle. Keim finds Taylor in wide open space. Doesn't take the end zone shot to Roberts. Again, just going to really be 100% if they can with these passes, although that one did seem open to me. Back to Sam Wilson. Now Keim, part of the gold medal winning squad last time out in Jer 4 years ago. getting it back from Taylor. And now Taylor going to take the dish off here to Lewis. He's got this swing here to Wilson. Takes the sensible option. Just tossed underneath there to Roberts. Kime just tries to backpedal his way in, but Roberts, I think, doesn't quite like what she sees there. So Wilson, again, this is very calm and confident from Great Britain. Lewis fakes out Taylor. I thought that could have gone as well. Wilson, back to Lewis. To Kime now, a couple of paces out. Can they find the forcing pass in? They can, down the sideline, and that is 5-2. Lucy Barnes with the score. And again, these Italian zones, Great Britain are prepared for them.
Yeah, they are. You said time and time again that there was a shot they could have taken and they didn't. Really relying on there will be a second, a third, or maybe even a fourth option that they feel more comfortable with taking in this situation. And with the Italians, they are prepared for this. GB is prepared for this zone, but you never know who will jump in from behind or jump through for a layout D, making sure, taking this extra second and making sure that nobody is around there, and that is a safe option to take. Is, I do think, one of the most important things to do when playing against the zone, playing effectively against the zone defense.
5-2 to Great Britain. Their O-line still immaculate. 25 passes that possession for them. Their previous possessions had been, well, not even half as long. But showing that they're able to, you know, strike in one pass when it's there, but also just dink and dunk their way to victory if they wish. Going with another rolling pull. Lafiata stops it, and Vorotto dumps it off to Poltok. Poltok instantly looking deep, but Zassi's got in behind, and Bart Zassi can only see it sail over his head.
I'm not going to say it again, but that disc just too far out of front for Bazazzi.
It's tricky because it's coming kind of directly over him as well, so it's difficult to try and find the timing to get set for the bid, and the back of the end zone was rapidly advancing on him as well.
We've seen people crash into the fence on the holding the flags up in the back. I'm happy nothing happened, but Bazazzi gets a D there.
Yeah, the throw from Thompson bladed and fluttered right into his clutches, and Bartzassi just disses it there to Andrea Fantini, and it's 5-3.
So redeeming his non-ability to reel in the score, gets him an assist instead. Bazazzi, of course, you highlighted him before, but a player to watch, can do it all, and is really just a workhorse for this Italian side.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that everyone in Europe and probably around the world is now familiar with what David Bartzassi can do, but if you're not, he is going to be such a key cog for Italy, not just in this tournament, but for the future as well, whatever division he decides to play his trade in. 5-3 Great Britain lead, going to send out this unblemished O-line again.
David Amori writing some stats or some things that he'd rather have said but didn't do.
Again, trying to get the blading pull, but it lands short. Great Britain will pick up in positive field position here. The wind does pick up a little bit. Lewis, I think, just demonstrating where he wants that first pass to be. Finds it to Dick, and Dick goes round to Fiona Kwan. Kwan short to Lewis. I think they're trying to bait those big, elaborate swings across. Backhand faked. And Taylor goes back to Lewis. Have been forced back into their own half, Great Britain, but now trying to pick up a little bit of positive momentum. Roberts to Dick, doesn't want the shot down the sideline, maybe forced through to Thompson, no. Lewis now taking his time with things. Really want to try and weigh up these passes, it seems, to Brits. Cheeky high release, just elevates that over the top to Sam Vile. Just shows that maybe that big throw across is there, and in calmer conditions he might go for it. But here he just wants to actually go for the little scuba. And he picks out Lewis brilliantly, and Lewis whips the forehand all the way across the pitch, pulls out something a little bit saucy, and sticks it onto Andrew Dick to make it 6-3.
Andy Lewis, the stats leader for this GB side.
2 assists and a goal in that game against Hungary, where actually a lot of the roster contributed. 3 combined goals and assists was the joint highest of anyone on the team. The scuba over the top there from Vile just opened up that soft spot, and this is an ambitious throw given the conditions, but he can really put some power behind it when he chooses Lewis.
Doesn't that Italian zone slowly settling in, and I don't think Britain were particularly pressured by it, but they had to think again about what shots to put up. So Andrew Dick has 2 scores. Just tally this game, as you can all hear the rain now coming in, and we promised you some different conditions, and that's one of them.
No one on ULTI.TV has ever been wrong or lied. Don't go back and check things.
No, we don't do wrong, we just have our opinions.
Italy trying to get it back in play quickly from the rolling pool. As the rain, you could probably hear it pounding down on the 10. That one was a little bit of a floater. Nugent bid underneath but didn't get there, and now a spectacular pickup from Bardzassi. Bardzassi wants to shoot deep but overshoots it to give Great Britain the disc.
Preservation of greatness, isn't that the term? An amazing bid by Bardzassi and overshooting Capucci.
The rain drives down here in Limerick. Carla Link just wiping the raindrops from the rim. And the first pass comes underneath to Turner, who I think is not quite happy with the spacing of this offense. Oh, snuck that one through to Kovshov when Fantini was unsighted. And now Mikhail's going to rip it, looking for Beeching, but Nugent's in the area as well. And Nugent charges it down for another British break and a 7-3 lead.
It was a beautiful shot by Mikhail. I do think Beeching was the intended target. She was rather deep already though, and Nugent also in the vicinity thinking, hey, I could run down that. Running with her. And I bet it doesn't matter who gets that score.
And
either one is fine. Just
the break side movement was so good to set up the deep shot for that huck, and I'm with you. I think it was for Beeching, and the important thing is that they had the communication there and they didn't get in each other's way.
exactly. Exactly, and that rain is still pouring down, although we get some sun with it as well. I'm looking for the nearest rainbow, but unfortunately it's not right in front of us. Just have the Frisbee.
The score was 7, not 22.
So Italy have to do some magic if they want to stay in that game.
A horrible pull that actually Fantini deals with really well. But Italy still in the shadow of their own end zone. Low. Fantini keeps it up though, and now trying to swing around the back. Holtok fakes the backhand, instead redirecting to Fantini. Ruscello comes through. Just trying to get a bit more verticality into the offense. That's nice timing on the break up to Bardzassi. A clean run through there. Simpson exploded out of the traps. Mikhail to Thompson. Great Britain looking to take half. As Boxall has it, just feathers a little flick towards the far side and punched in from Agnew. to Mikhail, 88 to the 0-0, and that is 8-3 half-time within half of an hour. Great Britain have been superb in this first half, Christina.
Yeah, clean plays all over. They just came out firing, and they have done their best and executed so well. Just what we've known to be able to do. There was some doubt, but looking at that team, I don't have a lot of doubt in my mind that this team belongs in the top 4 quarters, semis, and maybe even the final if they can continue to perform like that.
Great Britain's O-line has not turned it over on their 4 possessions, and all of their breaks have been clean, while Italy have turned it over on every offensive point. It's remarkable, I think, the difference so far between these two sides. We know that Italy, when on form, can definitely pose a threat to Great Britain, and a lot of teams in this tournament at half-time will give them a chance to get some maybe rather pointed instructions to try and work out how to flip the script. 8-3 here, Great Britain leading at half-time in the mixed division at EUC 2023.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Lovely grab. Wow. (8-3) Great Britain leading at half here. Mixed division pool play action from EUC 2023. It is Benjamin Rees and Christina Obermeyer in the booth, and you have a look. There is the story of the game. 4 breaks for Great Britain, none for Italy. All of Great Britain's offensive scores have been clean. Maybe they'd want to improve the break conversion. 4 for 7, but still hitting on over 50% of their break chances. While Italy, well, they've not even had a break chance.
Italy haven't quite been there yet. They're not. I don't know how to. I've said it again and again, and I don't want to push them down too much or say too many bad things about them.
But they are very flat, I think, in this game.
Yeah,
And
they're just. They can fire. They have this this Italian mindset, momentum, and their hearts are in it and pouring out during games. I've seen that so many times, and I bet you at home watching have seen that as well. But here now, I can't feel it. I don't know what has to happen, but I would really like this, whatever it is, to happen now.
I think one of the first things here for Italy is get a clean hold on the board. They've turned it over on every point where they've had a possession so far. This ball's going to roll towards the near sideline. A little bit of football from Bartzassi. Maybe he gets that to roll a little bit further than he wanted, and he has his hand up in apology, but is fielded by Poltok. Bartzassi now comes underneath. They've got the underneath. Finds the option. Colombi. Back to Bartzassi, just outside the end zone. Thought they might take the little forcing shot, but instead going for the blade across, just past the bidding Nugent into Fantini, and there is the clean hold to start the half for the Italians. 4-8 they trail.
They finally get a clean hold, does Italy. And it took a lot, though, and I know GB's defense is very good, and they're pushing every step of the way, but it seems risky, every single one of those passes. Nugent flying from meters away, but close in the end.
I wonder there if maybe the hammer's the option, because it's kind of coming over the head of Nugent. You can lead the receiver into space a bit more, but Fantini, you know, he did the right thing. He kept his eyes focused on the disc, and Bartzassi gripped it and ripped it in there.
I would agree with that hammer option, but the wind is going from where we are sitting to the far side, so from one side to the other of the field, and that hammer would be carried away by wind, and I do think it would work. I think it would be very hard to execute well.
So 8-4 to Great Britain. We're going to see them on offense for the first time in this second half. Has the damage already been done, though?
I think so. But it's not over till it's over, is it?
Very much not. Keim fakes through that front line. 3 female matching players there. Baraldi just kind of lurking in behind, and they thread that through superbly. Right onto Roberts. Roberts with the little dish. Oh, it's behind Kwon. And there is the first turnover for Great Britain's O-line. And it's a turnover, really, of their own making. What can Italy do with their very first break chance of the contest? Into the backfield, Letizia Gatti. Everything staying around the end zone at the moment. Cutters struggling to separate downfield, and that one fluttered up there. Helen Thompson nipped in, wanted the quick one from Kwon. Not going to get it though. Keim now fakes down the line. Trying to center it. Get a little bit more room to work with. It creates the space, and Thompson, excuse me, finds Lewis. Got the wrong Helen to make it 9-4. First turnover, at least for Italy, against GB's O-line, but defensively, once they'd got it, it felt like Italy just couldn't really do anything with it.
No, they really couldn't. They put it into the middle, but then lacked the connection down the field. The communication on Italy just does not work quite well yet. And too many players attacking the same area. And then on the other hand, GB remembering their red zone offense. They were just in front of the end zone line. Didn't like the up the line, instead go back, attack the end zone from a different angle, and then manage to go back and get that point. And they are 5 points up on Italy still. Mikhail with the pull for GB. course, we are using the gender pulling rule, meaning if there's 4 male matching players on the field, a male matching player will pull respectively. For women or for female matching players are on the field, a female player will pull as well.
It's one of those rules that seems so obvious now we're using it, but took a little bit of time to come through. La Fiata try to put some air underneath it, shooting towards the back of the end zone and shooting it on target as well. A brilliant throw to Chiara Varotto to make it 9-5. A third assist of the contest there for Nicole La Fiata. They said in the pre-game, Great Britain, that, you know, we're happy for her coming underneath because we'd rather have her throwing the hucks than receiving them. But that one was bang on, precisely where it needed to be.
Yeah, look at her throwing those hucks. See the replay, and she puts it out into space. It is a bit of a risky shot, seeing as her intended target isn't the tallest frame, but with no one around her, that is just a perfect shot put on a platter for her respective receiver, Varotto, to collect. And I just want to point out once again that all of these Italian players are still under 24.
This is a very, very young side. Coming up against a stern opponent here in Great Britain. You were not quite at full strength today. Josh Briggs is sitting out. Apparently just tweaked back in a practice yesterday, so just choosing to be bit more cautious.
Doing the respectable thing early in the tournament. Of course, it is Sunday, and the finals are on Saturday, so we have a week of Ultimate left to play.
There is a lot of Frisbee left, you are correct. Match defense this time. High one that Wilson catches well. Pivots out. Taylor slides to the ground, collects, and dishes off to Kwon. Kwon to Barnes, being pressured here by Ferrero. A player who I think is probably roughly half her age. But both demonstrating why they deserve to be out here. Lewis faking down the line. Now Kwon. Taylor races underneath. Covers the grass so quickly. But not a lot going on downfield. Waiting for someone to eventually try to make something happen. Lewis comes and sticks a tough catch with that left hand. Resets to Vile. One of the leaders of that GB World Games side last year from a coaching and management perspective, along with his teammate here, Lucy Barnes. Tight on the sideline, Barnes has it now. Oh, just didn't quite like the look of Taylor there. Swinging through and well blocked. The layout comes through from Federico Baraldi. Certainly, Great Britain's offense has found it a little bit tougher to break down the Italians since the interval. And Lucy Barnes there steals a march, comes racing through. Now Great Britain looking for the quick pickup with Vile through and just lasered in there on Andy Lewis, and it allowed Italy to come and pick it up, but they give it straight back as Sam Wilson just bats it to the floor.
A messy game so far. Neither side, a point rather, the game wasn't as messy. Neither side really getting a good connection.
Not sure Brini needed to put that one up as Kwon goes down the line to Wilson for, I guess you could call it a bookends. I'm not sure whether his touch really could be qualified as a block, but 10-5, the first point of this game, where either side has turned it over on more than one occasion.
I do think it was necessary, because if the Italian intended target had all space to get that disc, he could have attacked it however he wanted, laid out for it whatsoever, and Wilson just ran through there and pushed it down. We see that here again, overrunning, and then the Italian was near. He just wasn't there first.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't necessarily need the tip, but certainly he needs to run and get himself in position. I'm with you there. And then here is eventually the score. Kwon down the line to Wilson to make it 10-5. It's been a better performance in the second half from Italy. Bit of a flip of the first half where both of Italy's holds have been clean, whereas Great Britain have turned it over on every point where they've had the disc. And that last point, as I mentioned, was the first point for either side where there were multiple turnovers. But Great Britain able to make it work. There's another deep shot coming out from Italy. This one looks good. It's floating over the top and into the bucket for the Italians. And, well, whatever was ailing them in the first half, they've successfully diagnosed and fixed it, because their O-line has yet to surrender the disc in the second half. 10-6, they trail Great Britain.
Yeah, this is more of what we know of Italy. At least their O-line really moving down the field. And I do feel like especially their O-line has much more confidence now.
Ruscello that time just getting beyond Andy Turner. I think in the first half they were kind of baiting those deep shots a little bit, and Italy either weren't taking them on, or when they weren't executing. But it feels like they've had a little bit of an adjustment now. They've got that dialed in, so we'll see if Great Britain can throw something different out next time they get the disc. That is a dog with a stick that is probably about as large as it is, and admire that commitment.
The cutest thing. I love dogs.
There will be a lot of dogs on the site this week, I assure you. No cats, though, I've seen so far, which is a little bit disappointing.
Well, you've got cats at home.
Yes, but I'm not at home.
I don't know.
Again, the ball bounces and rolls back towards the Italians. Poltok gets in behind to stop it. Keim. Oh, throws it behind Wilson. Miscommunication, perhaps. They've crossed over the O-line to play defense, and they can't make it work as it bounces in and out of the hands of Letizia Gatti. Down the line, Dick lays out, secures it, inbounds as well. Now Keim, as the reset, gets looked off, and the hammer comes down the line to Wilson. That was not it.
That was out of bounds and never got back in.
Fantini to Poltok, continuing around, high one there for Varotto, who's not the tallest of stature. There's a player down on the far side, Lafiata. Italy are much more effective at forcing errors from Great Britain's offense in this second half, but still yet to find one of the breaks they need. Squeaks that one through to Poltok, and he's got an arm, and he can bang it against the wind, but Wilson has position. Oh, he tips it, it's still alive. Fantini toes it in bounds. If you don't catch it, Sam Wilson, that's what will happen. Fantini, Bardzassi comes underneath, maybe loses his foot a little bit. Right on the end zone line, pops it up, Fantini gets it at the second attempt. Now just outside the end zone. Can they find it through? Yes, they can. But that's into the end zone for Italy's first break, 7-10. And I think maybe GB were not expecting this in the second half. And Italy, to their credit, have punished them.
Well, they must have expected that. They couldn't have thought it was going to be that easy for the rest of the game. And GB have now taken a timeout to maybe stop the Italian momentum definitely going their way.
Yeah, there's the huck from Poltok that Wilson got to, and he just tried to slap it away. And in this wind, if you're not catching it, you are always going to potentially create problems for yourself. Fantini didn't get that at the first attempt, but then Fanto adjusted. And looking for the break side, Bardzassi just sees the wide open player at the front of the end zone. Elisa Capucci for the score. 10-7 then, Italy trying to power a comeback here at EUC. University of Limerick, the venue here for the European Ultimate Championships 2023. Lovely to be back here, of course, after we made the trip out for the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships, roughly this time last year. First break of the game coming for Italy, who had a very poor first half in truth, but certainly look to have got something about them since the resumption of this contest. Great Britain taking a timeout with things certainly not clicking for them offensively. Ben Giries and Christina Obermeyer in the booth. We'll see what Great Britain were up to during that little break.
Yeah, I would love to be a mouse in that huddle. Is that a saying in English? Because it is in German. Like
we say it'd be a fly on the wall.
Ah, yeah. That's. I would.
But
I would love to be a fly in the imaginary wall in that timeout for GB, wanting, just listening to what they're saying.
As the skyscraping pool fielded from the floor, Mikhail's come over to the O-line now. Running a little give-go with Thompson. Thinks about the bang-up wind. But Zassi again coming over to play defense. So is Fantini. And Bart Zassi's marked up against Mikhail. Vial going down the line to Lewis. Oh, he tipped it. And smuggled back by Italy. Fantini with the interception. It was there for Great Britain, but it just rose a little bit too much for Lewis. Italy getting bogged down after the turn, though. Fantini, I think, just wants something, anything going on downfield. Takes the short one. Now, continuation. Puppy. Oh, has it hand blocked by Wilson. Mikhail picks up, takes the free reset to Vial. Vial now to Kwon. Lewis catches it past the bidding Fantini. Desperate to earn another block. Helen Thompson steals the inside line and the disc is broken all the way around to Sam Vial. Thought he was going to set himself for the layout, but he's able to chop his feet in time. Now centres back again. Wilson. Oh, a bit of a riser, but Taylor's got the speed to adjust and get there in time, just outside the end zone. Vial plants, provides the resetting pass, and Wilson just weasels his way free there of Pietro Papi to make it 11-7. But again, not clean, as it has not been at all this half for Great Britain's O-line.
Slurpee time. Just had to put that in. Stefan phrase that I was stealing there. 7-11. What's your favorite flavor?
Honestly, it's been probably literal decades since I've had one, so I can't comment.
Okay.
I am very, what's the word I'm looking for? I am old in spirit, maybe.
Well, that's okay.
Here's the scoring pass. Taylor just resetting it there, not seeing an option that she liked in the end zone. And you don't necessarily need a huge amount of separation when spaces are that tight, and just threads that one into Wilson to get GB back on the board, having surrendered their first break of the game on the previous point.
Yeah, and got lucky there on this point as well. Already turned it over, but got it back. And beautiful red zone offense from GB. They've shown that time and time again, but really impressed with their composure at times. Ellie Taylor, a player to watch for sure.
And she covers the ground so quickly.
So much speed, and she's constantly running. I've been watching her a little bit in this game, and it's everywhere at once, it seems like.
Fielded on the bounce, but not cleanly. Is going to start Italy in the back of their own end zone. GB try and ratchet up the volumes from the sideline. Bartzassi threading it through. Now they'll see if they can get a bit of a jailbreak going. But Great Britain are just able to apply some of the brakes there. In the zone, past the bidding Agnew. Through towards the far side. Agnew just trying to cause all sorts of disruption. Being very active. Poltok goes to Ruscello, who drops. First turnover of the second half for Italy's offense. just maybe tried to slow things down for the Italians, and Great Britain got their reward. Mikhail circles his way round. Has a little peek to see what he can find on the break side, but instead goes down the line to Link. Link is shooting towards the end zone, and it just fades away from Simpson towards that back corner. And the turn goes back to Italy.
It looked perfect for such a long time until at the last second it dropped away, angling out of bounds ever so slightly. See a replay of that disc trailing towards the outside.
Disc is going to come in from the front cone. Poltok slowly strides his way forwards. We've already seen him be more than happy to put it into the wind. And this time he goes with the blade over the top to Bardzassi. No fear there, as if there was ever any doubt from the Italians, and just tried to pop that one back to Poltok. And Ruth Taylor gets a hand in there to just disrupt the flow. Link calmly walks to the front. I think a little bit of miscommunication about who precisely is doing what, and Simpson collects the discs, but he is suspiciously free, and there is a pick in the center.
Yeah, there was an abundance of people in the middle of that end zone. Doesn't surprise me at all that the pick was called.
Just going to have a discussion about what the resolution will be. Link picks up again. Off the check. Back to Mikhail. Oh, Mikhail I thought was going to go for Thompson there, but instead the high release over the top. The layout on the far side from Cameron Agnew. Great Britain earned the break. They surrendered a couple of points ago back. 12-7 now they lead. 3 points away from the win.
And they are in the driver's seat for sure. Get the disc back after a deep shot that wasn't really coming out just right, and a lot of composure. Conor McHale could have taken that throw to Taylor, but it would have been a bit rushed. So that caught a bit early for the reception, and then takes the. Was that a hammer? No, school.
Just the lefty high release.
By high release backhand, that's what it was.
I say just the lefty high release.
Well, if you're a lefty high release becomes just a high release.
High release, yes, but.
So a high release backhand for Mikhail. But no, it is hard to execute these shots under pressure, especially because it was a real break throw. Although Mikhail is probably not someone who would find that particularly hard.
So these two sides are in Pool B in the mixed division. We mentioned, of course, that both had wins this morning. 15-12 for Italy over Latvia, 15-3 for Great Britain over Hungary, and Latvia currently lead Hungary 9-7 in the other game going on right now in this pool.
9-7, that's pretty close.
Varotto. Going back to Fantini. Again, just sagging off those handles a little bit here, Great Britain. They want to gum up the flow downfield and try and test the patience of their opponents. The two 16s matched up against each other. Varotto gets the better of Thompson there. Gaglione coming over to play the offense line. Wants this aggressive shot down the line. Poltok, he went for the bid. He was right to go for it, but it was still too far. Italy being aggressive, but it didn't pay off.
That bid came a little too late, my opinion.
Yeah, it did, but may as well give it a go as the wind picks up a little bit with Turner in the center of his own end zone. Boxall. Faking downfield. Swinging into the center. Body position achieved there by Beeching. Marched up against Lafayette and tried to sneak it back through to Boxall, but a brilliant layout from Poltok, who just pops to Lafayette for what is probably their simplest score of the tournament, 12-8. First goal of the game for Lafayette to go along with her already 4 assists.
Lafayette showing she can do it. She can do different things and is not stifled by the by the pressuring defense of GB. Of course, everyone knows by now that she is a force to be reckoned with, someone to keep an eye on. You can see that defense from Poltuck flying through, and Lafayette just standing centimeters away.
I mean, for a lot of these Italian teams, and these Italian players, I should say, on this mixed team, they've been touted as ones to watch for the future for a while. They're here to prove they are ones to watch for the present as well. Another timeout. Great Britain leading Italy 12 points to 8.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Italy breaking their huddle there. 12-8, they trail Great Britain. Still plenty of time for them for the combat. As a little dash in there, going for a walk here at the University of Limerick, the venue for the European Ultimate Championships. Thoroughly enjoyed the Irish hospitality so far, with them having issued 100,000 welcomes. I'm not going to try and pronounce that in Irish. That's what Nora's on the ad for.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched that ad yet, go back to our Instagram channel or maybe our YouTube channel where it was posted as well. It's a beautiful melodic introduction to Limerick.
Yeah, lovely to be back on the Emerald Isle. And you can see why the grass is so green given the weather we've had today. It's been well watered. An optimistic ice cream truck in the background as well. Can't blame a guy for trying, I guess. Italy getting ready to pull. Gatti, we'll see if they go for the roller again. A bit flatter. Just bounces at about midfield. Lewis picks up with Great Britain still looking for their first clean hold of the second half. Helen Thompson fakes, or lovely cut through, just creates the separation, and Helen Thompson finds the leading inside pass. Kime clears through. And then that was aggressive over the top. Would have been a very tough catch to make, but I think had decided that that was his option as Taylor was coming free underneath, and maybe was the decision.
Also, that was going to be out of bounds anyway.
Great Britain's offense, after a flawless first half, has much room for improvement in the second. But Zassi, the layout from Lewis had to be cleaned up by Kime, but it was in the end, and there is a call.
So Bazazi claims he could have gotten there or had it in his hands already.
So I'm not sure whether the call's on the initial layout or on the second attempt. If he's trying to claim that he had it there, I'm not convinced.
So we'll get another replay of it here. That layout bid, yeah, and then Bazazi comes in and
Mikhail came to have a look at it on our replay screen.
it's very hard to tell from our perspective, isn't it?
It all seems fine to me.
Yeah, yes, it seems fine from here, but imagine the
I
GB
appreciate
player
on the field.
running
Yeah.
into, like, towards Bazazi. Of course, he's jumping out of the way, and from this angle, you can see he's jumping out. But I could imagine if you were, like, staring down that GB player and only focus on the distance, you're surprised that he is here at all.
So the two players still involved in discussions.
It's very hard to tell. I do believe also that dangerous play is often a call that is called by emotion and not by, like, something that definitely happened or not.
It can be difficult to be objective about sometimes when you're right in the thick of things.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that again, because I don't know
That's
how to
all
put
right.
it
I knew what
really.
you were getting
Yeah,
at.
thank you.
We're here to help each other out. This does go back to Italy. Baraldi. He wants the deep shot. Again, Barzassi's the option, and Barzassi gets up nice and early to pluck it down from the skies. Can they have any continuation from it? No, because Lewis stuffs it with the hand block. Was just trying to get the offload there back to Verotto, and Lewis read it well. Keim manipulating Ragusa on the mark. Low, too low for Thompson. Picked up quickly by Baraldi, sitting it towards the far side. Tried to steal through. There's no force on Bartzassi, and the shot from the backhand is comfortably out of the far side of the pitch.
He was so happy he got that, pointing for a deep continuation, and then too much swinging on there, releasing that too late as well, and just putting it into the hill.
Yeah, I think just showing his teammates that, hey, we're still on offense here. But not for much longer. Another low one. This time it rises into Helen Thompson's hands. Dick in the center. Kwon shooting down the far sideline, a foul accepted on the mark.
That disc was very, very low. I would have been surprised if that wasn't tipped or anything, or hand. Some cotton there.
Kwon trying to lead Keim down that far sideline. Keim continues a good thing to Lewis. No! Off his outstretched right hand. Italy again looking for the deep shot. This time Lewis has it covered. And I think he got a hand to the face from Bartzassi as he did so. But all okay to continue.
I give that man a chance, Bazazi.
Dick off the line to Kwon. Continuing around to Keim. Now Taylor underneath. Thompson's the option. Got to throw that into the end zone, or just holsters for one extra fake, and it frees up the inside channel for one Helen to find the other. Thompson to Roberts makes it 13-8.
An expansive shot through the middle, and this is the exact drill you drop, right? Going up the line and then switching possessions toward midfield, and Fallon Thompson executed that perfectly, just putting it into space for Helen Roberts to collect. See Taylor to Thompson, and then Roberts in there for the score. Beautiful stuff for GB, and we've seen our red zone, their red zone play connect time and time again.
Yeah, 3 turnovers for each side in that point after a brilliantly clean first half from Great Britain. The second half will certainly, I think, give them food for thought.
Yeah, while Italy took their time to wake up GB maybe couldn't hold that same level of energy during that whole game, but it does feel like they're just taking a bit longer. They're still executing well at the end of points.
Both sides essentially trading for this half with a break each. The damage, of course, was done before the break, with Great Britain taking an 8-3 half-time lead. That was always going to be tough to recover from for Italy. Try and trap Poltok on the line with the first pass through the centre, but well caught there by Lorenzo Colombi. And Loreno Colombi finds Ruscello. Poltok down the line, no, instead squares up to break central to Forotto. Forotto has the diminutive Capucci free herself of Carla Link's clutches, now in the hands of the head-banded Fantini. Ruscello going with the high release, found a window where they did not think was one available. The around break, Italy staying patient in the red zone here. Oh, past the bidding Link, it's going to leave her out of position, but Italy can't capitalize. Capucci has to go back to Fantini. Poltok tries to get the disc short, and Turner comes too far round on the force, and it creates just enough of a gap for Fantini to pull the trigger into Capucci to make it 13-9.
Link flying around again and again, but Capucci steady hands and not dismantled whatsoever by the bidding defender. Gets the disc and distributes it again and again. See the replay of it here.
There was the bid from Link, yeah, that did leave her out of position. She was able to recover in time, and then I think we'll see this cut comes here from Poltok, and it's this a little fake there, sucks Turner in a little bit, and it opens up the break side space, and Link bids again, but couldn't get there.
Capucci caught that disc and moved her body away immediately, very aware of Link being at the back of her shoulder. So Italy need to get a break here.
Yeah, the equation hasn't really changed for the Italians, still needing to find a fair few breaks in this contest. Great Britain very much in the box seat to fight a much sloppier second half performance. But there's a cloud. What's a cloud doing that low?
Ah, cute.
Do you not see many Samoyeds out there? Hey, it's got the cone. Put that back, Cloud.
Excuse you. We still need that.
It's all right. I think we started out.
Perfect.
So here's the pull from Italy. He's going to land out of bounds on the far side. I imagine Great Britain will take it from the sideline at midfield rather than going back to their own brick mark.
I do wonder about these things, and they're going to opt to take the brick mark because it's downwind, right? And starting from that far side when it's downwind is so much harder than starting a few meters back, but in the middle of the pitch. Especially when Italy is playing a zone, which they are doing right now.
So the first pass, Keim dishes to Vial. They repeat the trick. Taylor goes through. And then resets back to Vial, who had to use those go-go gadget arms to bring it in. And that one tried to dish it through to Keim in the cup, but made his intentions far too clear, and Stefano Panariello gets the layout defense. Santorini. Now Panariello, having got the block, will try and power the D-line to another break. Nani wants it through, but I think GB, again, a concerted plan just to try and prevent quick movement. Ferrero, off target, offline to Eleonora Lubisco. Deep shot coming up, and it just dropped before Taylor could get there. Italy might look to get this in quickly, and they do. Seeing if they could just get there before maybe they're expecting it all. Taylor thought she'd intercepted it, Santorini seemed to think he had it first.
I thought Taylor was there first from just looking at it once, but we have the benefit of a replay.
Wow, that is tight. That
I
is so
do
tight.
It is. I do still think Taylor was there first, but that's just my personal opinion, and we'll see that again. Everyone watching on the replay here, you see that Taylor coming through, and
I think when you slow it down like that, Taylor looks like she has it. However, the players on the field seem happy that it was at least simultaneous and it stays with Santorini. Because what we think in the booth is not the important thing.
not at all.
Because we have no decision-making power.
We just
That
have
one
the-
was a sliding grab. Sorry to cut you off there, Christina. Looking for some throw and go action down the sideline. GB roll the switch. Brini. Still count rising, goes back to Ferrero. Ferrero with the underneath. Helen Thompson with the run through. No doubt about that one.
Nope, not whatsoever.
Great Britain sideline saying we can use our legs here. As Vile with a beautiful find of Roberts downfield. And Roberts putting a little bit of air underneath it. Splendid shot to Dick to make it 14-9. One away from the win, Great Britain.
Yeah,
But I think they'd be disappointed with their O-line surrendering it so frequently in the second half.
Britain within one of closing out that goal, that game, of course. One less goal. It was a crazy point again. So many turns, and I think the fact that Italy always try to pick the disc up quickly sometimes really helps them gain some yards, but on the other hand also confuses themselves just as much as their defense. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just that big a fan of the way they're doing it. I do think they're not gaining enough from it, really. Also, GB's defense, especially on the women's side, is very good. These run-through blocks they're getting left, right, and center, it just shows there's a difference between those two teams. And this might just be the margin.
So the pool rolls out of this near sideline into our booth. Poltok brings it in. Smith's trying to make herself big on the mark. And again, the plan clear. Trap Italy on this near sideline. There's the thread through. Colombi goes to grasp, but does keep her hands underneath and securing it. Now Poltok. Trying to use some throw and go. Oh, that one's popped up from Fantini right into the hands of the opposite number 11, Smith. Smith has Boxall in the backfield. Boxall just going to sit this one towards the break side. Beeching gets underneath it. Agnew wants to power his way through, but there's a bit of contact there with Poltok, which is going to bring a halt to proceedings. Calls from the sideline of Great Britain. Break to win. Break to win.
Would be a deal, wouldn't it? For Great Britain side. For sure, Italy on the other hand would have to make so many things work.
Ray. Oh, that one pops up, but is brilliantly caught by Nugent, and he wants to end it in style. Sits the flick into the wind, but it is going to hang. It's going to hang. It defended. Oh, Agnew laid out, and he very nearly got it in the back of the end zone, but it does go back to the Italians. Good tip there from Lafiata, and Agnew just couldn't quite snag it on the second attempt.
He was so close. What quick reaction for Agnew.
So difficult to react and adjust the body so quickly as Colombi has it pop through her gloved hands. Ray just taps it to the turf. Boxall again looking for the break. and that one never had a chance.
That one was very low and pushed down by the wind even further.
Fantini wrenching the inside-up backhand deep, and it was off the hands of Bartzassi. He likes that. If you step off at the thrower, he's more than happy to go for that inside backhand as the wind is going to whip up a little bit here. Boxall picking up again. This time Ray boxes out and makes the catch in front of Colombi. Continuation to Agnew. Shows the flick, doesn't want it, instead goes with a little quick one to Boxall. Those two teammates up in Scotland for years. With Black Eagles and then Lassley Alba. Brilliant break down the line from Boxall. Agnew wanted the full fat milk into the end zone, but the dairy's closed for now. And Agnew trying to shoot it across. This might float up a little bit. And Nugent pops up in front of Fantini to give Great Britain the 15-9 win with the break to do it in the end.
What a way to close that game out on the GB side. Clinical time and time again, doing everything they needed to, composed at times, but just not as clinical in the second half as they were in the first one. But even though they had turnovers, it was clean for them, really. Overall, we can't forget there's wind, different conditions, and also it's the first day of a week-long tournament. You're allowed to have a few errors, and I bet that they will be cleaned up by the end of it.
Yeah, certainly there are things to work on for both sides in this contest. Despite Great Britain grabbing the victory, we are going to grab a quick post-game interview very shortly with Helen Thompson. Helen Thompson is shortly going to join us in the broadcast booth. Making sure we haven't got any literal or metaphorical crossed wires here in the booth. Having a look at the match stats there as we are joined in the booth by Helen Thompson. 15-9 victory in the end. What were your thoughts on the game?
It was a really good game. We played them at Windmill and we had a much closer game. I believe it was 14-12. So we came out really firing, really wanting to come out strong from the beginning, and I think we did that. So I think we're quite proud of ourselves.
I mean, the offense in the first half was, I mean, almost literally faultless, didn't even turn it over. So what do you think was key to that fast start?
I think we had a lot of energy in our warm-up and a lot of focus, and that's always fantastic when that happens. So really proud of that. I think we'll want to adjust how we played in the second half to some extent, but I think we did really well on defense to get the disc back when we did make some rush decisions.
So what do you think was the reason why you were a little bit more unpolished in the second half? Was it rushing decisions? Was it maybe just a ratcheting it up in intensity from your opponent as well?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of credit given to Italy there and how they played in the second half. I think we took them a bit by surprise in the first half, and in the second half they were definitely playing more like themselves. So they were upping the pressure, and I think the wind was upped a little bit as well, and we'll be looking to dial that in next time.
What are your main takeaways from this for the next game you've got coming up? One more group game against a Latvia side that is also not going to be an easy opponent.
I think our main takeaways is that when we play with that kind of focus and energy, we play well, and when our sideline is that dialed in as well, we play really well. So to be honest, it's just more of the same. It's recover well tonight, it's eat well and sleep well, and go from there.
Lovely. We'll let you get back to your teammates to celebrate. Thanks, Helen.
Thank you so much
for joining us in the booth. 2 assists and 2 blocks there for Helen Thompson. Of course, playing alongside her twin sister Becky as well, which must be an interesting and fun experience. So 15-9 the final score here. Great Britain with a comfortable victory in the end over Italy, with most of the damage done in the first half. The Italians improved after the break, but most of the damage had already been done. Keep your eyes tuned to ULTI.TV here this week, because we've got plenty of games coming up, not just today, but all through this week, and 2 more games coming up right now. I say right now, in just over half an hour. On this field, we are going over into the Open division for Sweden against Slovenia, with Lorcan and I in the booth, while Hannah Pendlebury and Lou Burgess are over behind us with some more mixed division action, and Belgium taking on Norway. For all of us here at ULTI.TV and Christina Obermeyer alongside me, Benji Rees, saying we will see you on the other side.
Standing on the edge while you're looking down, fly down on the ground just to find out. You fly so fly, don't ya? Keep riding skies, won't ya? Standing on the edge while you're looking down, fly down on the ground just to find out. You fly so fly, don't ya? Keep riding skies. To yourself, to there, just try to open up and show someone you care. It might not be intentional, but you seem scared. Just try to open up and let it lead somewhere. Breathe in some love. Let yourself unfold. Breathe in some love. Let yourself unfold. Breathe in some love. And let yourself unfold. Breathe in some love.
Yeah, if you find something that you think you could do some interesting analysis of, I think that'd be good. I think, yeah, we could do it.
Want to keep it nice and clean, not freak out and cause a scene. I try to hold it together, keep it together. Not sure who I really am, just be cute and super bland. I try to hold it together, keep it together. Been playing it down, but I'm so getting tired. Now won't you meet high? 'Cause I've been feeling that crazy, and I need to lose control. So baby, put the record on, baby, put the record on, hit it. And I've been needing that crazy, and I gotta let it go. So baby, put the record on, I'm not gonna need that song, hit it. Monday came and swept away all the fun of yesterdays. But I'm gonna hold it together. This ain't forever. Need a shot and then a beat. Somewhere to let out some steam. I'm not the one to say never. Never say never. Been playing it down, but I'm so getting tired. Now won't you meet high? 'Cause I've been feeling that crazy, and I need to lose control. So baby, put the record on, baby, put the record on, hit it. And I've been
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.